let's say we've got a cochlea in your ear. The big fat end of the cochlea is low frequencies, and the little tiny skinny end of it is high frequencies. And all of that low frequency and high frequency goes into the medial geniculate and the thalamus, and that sends it up to the auditory cortex. And the low frequencies are fine, but little Johnny went to too many rock concerts, and he was shooting guns with no hearing protection, and he's riding motorcycles and wind in his ears, and over time his high frequencies just weren't there anymore. So on the cortex, the high frequencies here don't get an input, and other things surrounding it invade. So little Johnny has tinnitus. It's the same mechanism, a thalamocortical dysrhythmia, a thalamocortical column that's not doing enough input. The surrounding cortex takes over, and you can see that again as a slowed alpha peak with a gamma in the surround. And that's basically the same thing that you end up seeing in the motor strip area for Parkinson's disease or movement disorders like essential tremor and these palsies. So different locations. You also see it in reward deficiency syndrome, which is like eating disorders, addiction, some depression at the anterior cingulate. So the thalamocortical dysrhythmia is a foundational basic failure mode in the brain that can be a failure in different networks. Depending upon the network, you end up with a different symptom, but it's a simple fix. You lost your high frequency hearing. Well, you might be able to put a hearing aid in and replace it, in which case the input's back and it kicks the other stuff out. So with a hearing aid, you might be able to turn off your tinnitus if you get it early enough. Phantom pain, it's not like you're going to get a new arm, but you can learn to live with it. And some people end up having an implant that can turn off the pain. Dirk Duritter puts in an implant that turns off tinnitus. Instead of having this column stimulate the area, you can put an electrode on top of this and stimulate from the top, and an implant put into the temporal area on the auditory cortex basically can turn off a tinnitus with the electrical stimulation. And yeah, it's entirely possible to do that. They do it obviously deeper in the brain for Parkinsonism. It's not a simple surface a spot like the auditory cortex is. You got to get down in order to get to it. But the subthalamic nucleus is easily done.